You're listening to the House of Takes NBA show with Dave Daba, the only NBA show in North America that believes the Rudy Gobert trade worked out for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Presented by Stealth.ltd.
Live and on tape from the heart of the Silicon Valley. It's the show that really asks the biting questions. You know, like, if Matthew McConaughey really spent time in an AI forest, or is Matthew McConaughey really just collecting a $10 million a year paycheck from Mark Benioff and the good folks over at Salesforce? Tough, biting questions. It's the House of Takes NBA show. Today on the show, we've got big trouble in Los Angeles with the Los Angeles Lakers and LeBron James. We'll also discuss the strategic strategy that the Boston Celtics are currently playing, which has them leading the East. But if you look at the way they're playing, if the playoffs started today, if you're a Celtics fan, should you be concerned? We've got that, plus Luka Doncic scores 50 on Christmas Day. And I have some thoughts on Jokic's going to the free throw lines. I've got all of that and a whole lot more coming up on today's episode of the House of Takes NBA show. All right. As always, I am Dave DeBog coming to you live and on tape from the heart of the Silicon Valley. Still on the backside of a cold, so definitely bear with me. Hopefully I won't cough too much. So it is an interesting day. Now we're sitting here the day after Christmas. It's just after 2 p.m. PST time, 5 p.m. on the East Coast. And I have some thoughts about what we witnessed on Christmas Day in the association. Now, trying to not overreact to the way the Los Angeles Lakers have played since they won the in-season tournament. There's certainly been a letdown. Now, ask yourself this question. If the playoffs started today, would the Lakers still be a dominant option for you to pick at least getting to a Western Conference Finals? And with LeBron James and a healthy Anthony Davis and their current cast of characters, they are absolutely still a threat to go to the Western Conference Finals. Do they have enough firepower to get by a Denver Nuggets team? Probably not. Is D'Angelo Russell still going to be a member of this Los Angeles Laker team when the playoffs actually start? Probably not. Will that be the right move for the Lakers to make? Look, if the Los Angeles Lakers can somehow hold on to Austin Reaves, not give up Austin Reaves in a trade, and bring in a player like a Dejounte Murray from Atlanta and just give up some other assets along the way, then they'll be in pretty good shape, because what they really need is somebody that can be consistent from the three-point line. It's so funny because, like, they brought in Malik Beasley last year, and Malik Beasley had a total meltdown in Los Angeles. Maybe Malik Beasley was just too close to his girlfriend's mansion, with a billionaire. So Malik has definitely played better with the Milwaukee Bucks so far this season. But the Lakers as a whole are one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the association. Now, we all know that LeBron James is just going to put whoever they put on this roster on his shoulders when the playoffs start, which, if the Lakers are healthy enough, is going to make them a threat, regardless of who the other cast of characters are. But if Rob Pelinka and the Los Angeles Lakers really want to win, really want to take a serious shot at winning a title this year with LeBron, and they owe it to LeBron and AD to do that, then they're going to have to bring in some additional firepower. Now, we've all heard the Zach LaVine stories that he's going to be on the market. And if the Lakers want Zach LaVine, they're going to have to probably give up D'Angelo. They're probably going to have to give up D'Angelo Russell and a bunch of other players. What they don't want to do is give up in any scenario with this particular roster, Austin Reaves. Giving up Rui would be one thing, but giving up Austin Reaves would be something that they probably shouldn't do, because on any given night, Austin Reaves is going to get you between 15 and 20 points coming off of the bench. How valuable is that to this particular Los Angeles Laker team? And the answer to that is high. So clearly, the Lakers need to make some moves. I don't think like the Zach LaVine move is the right way for them to go. I think a Dejounte Murray or Dejounte Murray style player is exactly what the Lakers need as they look towards making a deep run in the playoffs. All right, North America, tell me what you think. I want to hear from you. A couple quick thoughts on the Boston Celtics. Now, the Boston Celtics are three-point shooting happy. That is who this particular Boston Celtic team is. And it's not just the players, it's the strategy set by their head coach and the rest of their coaching staff. They are, for the most part, purposely trying to not play in the paint. Now, maybe that will change as the playoffs get closer, but remember, we're only a quarter of the way through the season. At this point, the Boston Celtics are almost refusing to do anything inside the paint. And you can't really argue with the results because they are leading the NBA in terms of a winning percentage. So what they're doing is actually working. Against the Lakers the other night, they went 13 for 42. 13 for 42 for 31% from the three-point arc. Like, the stats aren't great, but the strategy and the willingness to stick to the strategy has led the Celtics to a lot of wins early in the season. Now, maybe the plan is to shift to a more traditional offense that they're probably going to need when the playoffs roll around. And maybe the strategy is that this actually keeps their key players healthier throughout the regular season, which I think right there sums up exactly why the Boston Celtics are playing the way the Boston Celtics are playing today. All right. Excuse me. So moving on to Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks. And when I think of Luka Doncic, I think of a one-person show. Yes, there's a bunch of other nice pieces that the Dallas Mavericks have added. And yes, you know, Kyrie is still up and down, you know, constantly getting hurt in some games, not in some games. But the consistency that Luka Doncic has to bring night in and night out for his team to be 6 games over 500 right now, the day after Christmas, is what they're going to need from Luka. Now, Luka entered the season, as you know, in significantly better shape than we've ever seen Luka. In fact, I would even argue he's in better shape than he was in his rookie year in the association. Luka is clearly on a mission to send a message to the Dallas Mavericks front office, which is to say, I'm willing to do the following. Are you willing to back it up? Because the loss of Jalen Brunson has proven to be something that, at least in the last 16 months, the Dallas Mavericks haven't been able to overcome yet. Clearly, like the Lakers, the Mavericks absolutely need some more firepower. The firepower they need is different than the Lakers, but they still need to get Luka some additional help. And I think if they can do that, the Dallas Mavericks certainly could be a threat this season. Of course, injuries certainly go into that. And as Kyrie's worlds go, so will the Dallas Mavericks this particular season. It is fantastic so much fun to watch Luka play basketball. But it is also at the same time hard to watch Luka play basketball, especially when he doesn't have any additional help. Now, it's easy to say all of this stuff, and you've had Exum show up and play some great basketball. You've had Hardaway Jr. play some great basketball. You've had Derek Lively, the rookie center, play some great basketball. You've had Powell play some great basketball. There are players on this Dallas Mavericks team that have absolutely recognized Luka's leadership and have stepped up, but they need more. And it's up to the management team of the Dallas Mavericks to actually provide that. If not, we're going to be looking at yet another wasted season of Luka greatness gone down the tube. And finally today on the House of Takes NBA show, Jokic scored 26 points against the Warriors in their victory over the Warriors on Christmas Day. Wasn't surprised to see the Dallas Mavericks win. The Warriors are certainly playing better of late. They have figured out at least a rotation that's working for them minus Draymond Green. And that rotation has really sort of panned out. Now, that rotation falls apart as it did on Christmas Day when Klay Thompson has a bad game. If Klay Thompson has a bad game, this new rotation that Steve Kerr has put into place will certainly fail in that game. You certainly can't have Steph Curry have a subpar game as well. Not to knock his 18 points, but if the Warriors were really going to beat the Nuggets on Christmas Day, it would have taken at least 30 from Steph to pull that off. As for Luka, who is one of my favorite basketball players in the NBA to watch, as was James Harden in the early days in Houston, has certainly lost a little bit of its luster, hasn't it? And just like James Harden, who used to get these rip foul calls all the time in Houston, to the point that watching James Harden play basketball in Houston was no longer fun, is exactly what's happened with our good friend, the Joker. The Joker at this point, he scored 26 points in the Christmas Day game against the Warriors. He went 18 for 18 from the free throw line. Now, I'm paraphrasing, but Steve Kerr basically came out and said that I wouldn't want to watch that. Basically saying that that's boring basketball, and it's absolutely ridiculous that Jokic would have 18 free throws in a game in which he only scored, do the math, 8 other points. Which, if you think about it, makes a lot of sense. As great as Jokic is, the fouls that he gets, the calls that refs make in support of the Joker's greatness is absolutely ridiculous. It is over the top. Love his game. Just stop calling it as close as you're calling it, NBA referees. All right. That is it for today's House of Takes NBA show podcast. As you could tell, still under the weather, but thanks so much for tuning in. And if you haven't had a chance to subscribe yet to the big channel, please go ahead and subscribe. And of course, like this video. For the House of Takes NBA show, I'm Dave Dubois, wishing you all a tremendous rest of your sports viewing day.
You've been listening to the House of Takes NBA show with Dave Daba, presented by Stealth.ltd.